got our banana for breakfast. Hold up. Oh, all right. Hello, welcome, and whatnot. We have our first meal, which is my black coffee. I like to do a scoop of protein in it, froth it up. We got 5 eggs, hot sauce, and a singular banana. But I'm gonna eat this and talk to you guys about mental health and bodybuilding in the gym, especially as a teenager, because I feel like it needs to be talked about more with teens. Yeah, that coffee's amazing. But my personal experience with mental health and bodybuilding has been confusing, not very thrilling. It definitely hasn't been the healthiest. It gets healthy at times, but there's been plenty of low points. So I really just recommend for a lot of people to, try to stay up in those low points, because what I would kind of do is I would fall back into things. I would either cheat on my diet or, have a weekend where I eat out with friends one day, and then I think, oh, the next day won't hurt, and I fall back into unhealthy eating habits and not sticking to my diet. Because with bodybuilding, it's a lifestyle. You have to stick to your diet 24/7, or at least 95, 99%, as much as you possibly can. You have to stick to your diet. And so the biggest challenge I've faced with bodybuilding as a teenager is probably the dieting. Because everybody loves working out. I feel like a lot of people can relate on this, where you love to work out, you love to be in the gym, you push hard, you go hard, but when you get home, you don't really stick to a strict diet. I've seen a lot of people eat healthy or healthier. They get their protein in, or they trade out one of their meals for the day with chicken and rice and hopefully vegetables. But that's healthier than the average diet. It's like, because obviously when you stick to your diet, 99% or more, you're going to see the gains. But it's also for the discipline factor of, you want to be disciplined 99% of the time, or a lot of you are going to say that you should be 100%. But obviously we're all human, we make errors, so I'm just going to be honest and come out and say it's probably 90 to 99, 95% perfection rate out here. Kind of brings up a topic I want to go over, and that's teenagers that want to bodybuild comparing themselves to grown men that are already bodybuilding, that have been in the industry 5, 10, 15 years. They've done this, they've taken PEDs, they've that's regardless of the point, because they've trained and they've stuck to their diet every single day for years on end. They've done countless preps, they've been in the gym every single day for years on end. And so it doesn't mean they're any better than the kid that is just starting out. It just means they have more time. The kid that just started still has 10 years that he has to do to be at the level that guy's at. So although everybody wants to look like these famous bodybuilders, everybody wants to be like the Trent twins. I love them, but everybody wants to be like them. Or they see like Anton Swall, the youngest IFBB pro, and so everybody wants to go for the IFBB pro card now. And it's a little hard when you have those influences and those influencers that look like that, but you're a teenager and you still got 6, 8, 10 years maybe until you catch up to them. It's closer than, say, like comparing yourself to Chris Bumstead. He's almost 30. No, you can't compare yourself to grown men as a teenager. It's one thing I've struggled with, because I see all these bodybuilders and these IFBB pros and these people that compete, and I'm like, ooh, I want to be like them. And then I look at myself and I'm nowhere near that. But of course I'm not. I'm only 16, so I still have at least 2 years so I can compete in the NPC. But what I suggest for most teenagers to do, if you guys are just Okay, we're back. We had minor technical difficulties. My 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 gimbal died. So I had to whip out the tripod. You know what? You know, hold on. Per Brian Hoydick's per Brian Hoydick's request, per Brian Hoydick's demand, per Brian Hoydick's diet. I feel like a lot of people are going through stuff that they don't want to open up to their friends about. Especially being in the gym, I feel like it creates a lot of opportunity for things like body dysmorphia or, self-confidence issues in young men. It takes a lot out of you. It drains you mentally and physically. Sometimes. Other times it'll reward you, when you make progress or when you see the weights going up every week, or, you get a compliment from someone and they say that you're looking bigger or you're looking leaner. It rewards you in that way. But a lot of the time, bodybuilding can be mentally straining. And, with having to say no to friends going out or getting food with them because, you want to stick to your diet and you want to make those gains. It can affect you in some ways. Obviously, it is very rewarding, and it's, it builds your discipline, which is never a bad thing. I just think that a lot of people don't understand what bodybuilding truly is. Obviously, I've not competed before, so I can't speak much on the competition part. I do understand that it is very hard, though, and it takes a lot out of you mentally, more than just off-season bodybuilding. But regardless, getting into bodybuilding as a teenager, a lot of kids want to. They think it's cool. They see people being jacked, but they don't understand what it took to get to that. Whether it's PEDs or a lot of food, I'm talking 8 to 10 meals a day. It takes a lot to be a bodybuilder and get to that size, get to moving those weights. And so I think a lot of people confuse just lifting for bodybuilding, and they don't understand what is behind those bodybuilders' physiques, or even influencers' physiques. Influencers still do work hard for their physiques, and they don't come naturally. Obviously genetics play a role in it, but regardless, they had to work and work very hard to get to that point and build their audience and build their physique for their audience. And so one thing I really want to just put out there, I want a lot of teenagers to know that they should stop comparing themselves to grown men, grown bodybuilders, influencers. These people are over 20 years old. Most of you are still like me, 4, 5, 6 years away from even being as old as them. And, we still have 4, 5, 6 years of training, dieting, eating, sleeping, posing, if you're looking at the competition, until you're at that point, until you might look like them. You'll probably look better if you're starting this early. So one thing I really want to cover is, keeping your mindset up by yourself. There's a lot of videos you can watch to get motivation, and it, makes you think that you have this great mindset, but you really don't. I used to watch motivational videos and I'd get hyped up for a couple hours, and then, I'd go back to normal. What really builds, the discipline that you need is waking up every day and doing things you don't want to. And I know you've probably heard that before, but it is very true. I think you just need to wake up every day, and you need to get out of bed. You should probably be making your bed when you get out of bed. Do your business and then have your breakfast. Make sure you choose your first meal wisely. If you don't already have a written diet, a plan written out for you, I think you should, make a wise decision with your first meal, because it kind of sets the tone for the day. And I think that, you should be having a first meal. I don't really suggest fasting or waiting till the afternoon to eat. If that's just what you prefer and that's what you do, then that works too. And that's, respect to you for fasting that long. But I believe Everybody should eat in the morning and fuel their body for the day and set the tone for their diet. I know that if a lot more people woke up and chose to eat a healthy breakfast, I think a lot more people would eat healthier throughout the day, and they would look a lot better and they would reach their goals a lot faster. But I see way too many people waking up, either skipping breakfast and going straight to school or work, and not making good decisions throughout the day, and then complaining about their physique later in the day. And what really did it wasn't what really did that to their physique wasn't this long strand of days that they didn't diet properly. It was the one day that they woke up and chose to not do it, and then the next day they woke up and chose to not do it. You have to wake up every single day wanting to do this. This isn't a casual relationship with the gym. This isn't going to lift for fun. This is bodybuilding. This is eating a strict diet, making use of your time in the gym, and genuinely pushing beyond your limits every single workout, every single week. You have to want this. You have to want to build your body, build your discipline, build your mindset around the gym, around working out, and around dieting. Dieting is 90% of this sport. Now, I don't want to get serious with you guys, so I just want to share one of my biggest things that have helped me with bodybuilding. And I really think it's watching a lot of creators and genuinely listening to their tips on mental health and just, training and dieting. I think that hearing them talk about it and knowing that I'm not in this alone really helps. So I do want you guys to comment below, and if you're open to it, tell me about any struggles you've had with bodybuilding or the gym or lifting. You don't have to be a bodybuilder to comment or respond to this. You don't even have to work out if you're just seeing this video by chance. I just want to hear what you guys have been through and see if we can relate and we can build a community that helps each other. And I want my viewers on my channel to reach out to one another and make sure that you guys are okay, and just be there for one another, because having people there would have helped me at one of my lowest points. So reach out to your friends that you lift with, or your teammates, or whoever you may go to the gym with, and ask them how they're doing with their confidence, or just being in the gym in general, because it can take an effect mentally, even if you have your confidence under control. I'd really appreciate if you guys liked the video and subscribed. Please let me know if you guys want to see more videos like this and how the editing was in this video, because I do want to get better at posting these videos for you guys. Please like and subscribe as well, so you guys can get updated on my channel and see when I post. I appreciate everybody. You guys are doing amazing. And if you haven't heard it recently, I'm proud of you.